What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with Truth Table. Welcome to the table. As you guys can tell, this is a nighttime type of episode, and that's okay. It's actually not nighttime. It's like 4:52 in the morning. Why am I awake? I can't shut my mind off. When I have moments like this where I'm heavily in thought and I'm thinking as I am, then I need to continue to remain productive, and that's fine. That's what I'm here for. So now that I have you here with me, go ahead and, when you get a chance, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. Does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. But today, and not only today, I actually think I want to go into another series. I believe that thus far, I've talked about a lot of different topics, but primarily I focus on relationships, men, women, battle of the sexes, things of that nature. But I believe that I want to focus primarily on this series that has to do a lot with human behavior, the mindset, and things that I believe all people should be working on. Men, women, children. So, without further ado, as you guys already know, you know what I do in this channel. You know what we do. I get in the kitchen and I get cooking. And that's what we're going to do. This series, at the moment, I don't have a name for it. But I will tell you what it's going to be centered around. It's going to be centered around people starting to understand and identify their own individual superpower, why they're here, what they're capable of, and what I believe they should be striving to perfect in their self. I believe I've shared this with certain people individually, and I believe I've even shared it on this YouTube channel, that there were times in my life that I was insecure. And I believe us as people, we all deal with this at different stages of our life. Some people are probably still currently dealing with this, and that's totally understandable. It's definitely a human thing. It's definitely something that occurs in this thing we call life. Now, one of the things that I believe make it hard is that most individuals' insecurities come from the idea that you're lacking something. It comes from the idea that you somehow, some way are not perfect in the way that you were created. And I'm here to tell you, I think that's nonsense. I have this saying where I say, you are only ever going to be yourself. So why not just get comfortable with that? And what I mean by that is, you only are born you. There's only one you. There is no two. Only one you. So, with that understanding, if you're unique, if you're an individual on this planet of 8 billion other people, why don't you feel incredible being one of one? Why don't you feel confident about the fact that you are one of one? I'll tell you why. I believe that the way our world is structured is that once human beings built the planet the way it is now, the way you see it now, because the way it is now is not the way it's always been, and I know you guys know that. That's why we have history and documentation of history and advancements in technology and so on and so forth. But why is this important? Why are you up at this time in the morning, Daniel, talking about this? Is this important? It's tremendously important, in my opinion. Why? Because I believe that a lot of people, especially in this modern era, lose sight of the very simple truth of something like that you are you, only you. There's only one you. And how you quantify your value should supersede what, in a sense, the world standard has created as your value. So that's saying a lot, Daniel. So simplify it. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I was telling him, you know what saddens me is that people measure their intelligence by scholastic achievement. They measure their intelligence by scholastic prowess in identifying how smart they are through institutions or what is considered to be classified intelligent, like a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a doctorate degree. Now, I would say that intelligence can't be contained. That's what I would say. Because the way I view us as people, us as human beings, Homo sapiens, is that the very mind we possess has no limitations in the ability to formulate thought, concept, strategies, creativity, and so on. It has no limitation. So I would conclude that it has no limitation on smarts. Now, someone, I'm not exactly sure, or a group of people sat back one day and decided that we're going to quantify intelligence. That in order to be classified intelligent, we are going to put a parameter on it. We're going to put a mark. And that mark is going to be called a degree. And I believe that, I try to remain optimistic for the most part. I would believe that at its original design, those marks were not created to give you a sense of completion in a way that is limiting. I believe the marks were a part of a strategy to create a society that we could build, facilitate, identify. It's like an identifier. Having a bachelor's degree is an identifier, but it's not the whole picture, right? And so the way I look at people is we're vast. Just like I'm saying that you're one of one. So something like insecurity doesn't make sense to me at this state of my life, in the awareness that I've come into over the years of understanding and gathering information and, testing my limits and so on and so forth. That you wake up every day and you are the only person that is you on this planet. That should make you feel incredible. That should make you feel confident. That should make you feel exclusive. And with that awareness should create drive, hunger. It should create a sense of self. And it should counteract any insecurities you have. Thinking back about where my insecurities came from, it was never measured by my own self-assessment. I never went inside my own head. I never went inside my own being of self and said, Daniel, you're not good enough, or you're not fast enough, or you're not smart enough, or whatever. I never did that. As a child, I never did that. What did happen is that I encountered cultures, I encountered people, I encountered scenarios, I encountered challenges that created a distorted view of how I see myself now and how I believe all people should see themselves. So what ended up occurring is that I started to buy into the static in the propaganda that was contrary to the positive image that I have of self now, which then created that apprehension, that insecurity, and so on and so forth. And Now, why am I talking about this? Well, because I'm starting to believe now more than ever that a lot of what people are experiencing and going through has so much to do with the fact that they are constantly in a battle of trying to identify with their own greatness, their own true identity in their own self. And through just natural life and through experiences, we're often not given the opportunity to really do that in a controlled environment. What do I mean? If you are living in the real world, if you are out here in any capacity that is not your home or a nurtured environment, then you're susceptible to criticism. You're susceptible to being able to now interact and at times measure where you arrive in the world and where you don't. You know, even something as simple as popularity. Like, what is that? I do understand the definition for how Webster defines it, but popularity, popularity contest and the social norms that we created as people that have nothing to do with nothing, but somehow, some way, it becomes a thing. And in an environment like a school setting, when you're in your adolescence, you start to now have to try to figure out how you arrive in the world based on other people's opinion. To me, that's crazy. Why would you allow strangers who are not inside of your head, inside of your spirit, inside of your limitless potential, to define how you will arrive in the world? I believe that there's not enough interactions where people take the journey of identifying their self, true self, inside their thoughts, their dreams, their goals, their talents, their interests, and all of these collective things. And I don't believe that people have a very clear understanding of a proper self-image. They don't get it sometimes through their parental unit. They don't get it sometimes through their environment. And it causes for a corroding of the visual aspect from an internal perspective to identify with one's true self, which in turn translates to exterior posture, verbiage, practices, inquisitive nature, confidence, and so on and so forth. So anyway, one of the things that I know I have to start to do is I had to understand that and accept, and this truly helped me, that there's only one me, and I can choose to live my life in a state of dissatisfaction because for some odd reason I was supposed to be someone else. Like, there was a mistake made. Obviously, in the Life Factory, there was a mistake made. I'm supposed to be somebody else. I'm not supposed to be me. I chose to believe that it was not a mistake. And I am exactly who I'm supposed to be. And I was born into the family I was supposed to be born into the era that I was born into the species that I was born into the sex that I was born into. And once that became an acceptance, that was a part of my breakthrough. And I started to work on and combat the negative rhetoric, especially if it was opposing to my own progress. If it was things that people were saying and telling me that weren't giving me and feeding my spirit on positive imagery, positive, progressive words, if it was counterproductive to positive self-image. And that took some years. It didn't happen overnight, but it also required effort. And it started with a choice. That's where it really started. So I wanted to come on here this morning, and I wanted to encourage those people, my listeners, my subscribers, my YouTube family, that at whatever point you are in your own life, most, if not all, things that you're going to be able to get through are going to start with your ability to, first of all, identify and then make a choice. I truly believe that you decide to remain in the moods that you're in, the state of life that you're in, when I say temperament, the demeanor that you're in. We truly are powerful beings as people. And you can decide to live life defeated, or you can decide to wake up every day and improve on self, the internal part. At that point, I believe the external will start to make more sense to you. But anyway, I know this may be a little deep, and that's okay. I think that this is also necessary content. So I'm going to do a series on this, maybe a few days, maybe a week. I'm going to try to flow with it, because in my interactions, because I do this in real life, I upload these videos and I come to you guys and I bring you content on things to consider and things to think about. But I also have these conversations in real life with real people on almost a daily basis. And I discover time and time again that there is a huge disconnect on people not realizing that if you're human and you're alive, that you are powerful. You're unique in your own individual makeup and your own self. You're one-on-one. There's nobody else like you. And why would you want to be anybody else but you? So I'm going to leave you guys with that today. I really hope it encourages someone or multiple people. Go ahead, like I said, and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this nighttime recording. I'm always looking to try new things. But anyway, thank you for those who hung out with me for the last 18 minutes or so. And I'm going to go ahead and sign out. You guys have a good day. Have a good weekend. And yeah, this is Daniel Rucker signing out. Thank you.